Screenwriting class I ever went to, they told us to keep a journal. So every evening for a year, I would dutifully transcribe all of my random thoughts, my triumphs, my disappointments, even those little minor observations. The idea was to go back later and to find what was my voice in just the day-to-day. To get in the habit of recreating all of those small, specific, those wonderful events that otherwise would be forgotten. It was 10 years ago. And I don't even know where the journal is right now. I've never missed it. I've never even thought of finding it. Until tonight. She's come back. And everything has changed. Cassandra appeared to us like a vision. As if the combined weight of our wishing her back again was suddenly enough to breathe life into her and to bring her back within our midst. And the others resisted, not daring to believe, but I believed. I knew. I knew the minute that I saw her that she'd come back, and she set us free. Only it turns out that freedom exacts a very heavy price. On the one hand, you want to go running ahead full tilt, finally letting go of all the guilt that's been holding you back. And instead you find yourself looking inexorably backward. If only we had known, dear God. If we had known that she didn't die that night. If we hadn't blamed ourselves, each of us somehow feeling infected and treacherous every time that we would let ourselves hear her screams, how would it have changed the way that we lived our lives? And even now, will we ever feel worthy of anything good? All of our lives, we've distrusted ourselves. We've kept our distance from other people, so they would never really find out what was going on inside of us. We tried to cover up our shame with outward shows of strength, but we never really lost the loneliness. That loneliness of knowing that we have committed the cardinal sin. We heard another human being cry out in need, and we turned away. And the fact that she didn't die, does that really change anything at all? I fear that the answer, ultimately, is no.
I spoke to one of the servants, and she said that Dad and Sophia have been out for most of the evening, possibly at the hospital.
The hospital?
Yes, apparently my brother-in-law has been injured, Eden's husband.
Eden's married. I know it's been 20 years, but I look around and it's like time has stood still here. It's exactly the same.
Oh, well, that's only recent. My father just lately decided to restore the place to its former glory. If you'd arrived a few months ago, you'd have seen acres of Mexican tile and a fountain into which I stumbled on many a wobbly night. I stopped drinking, Cassandra. I don't know why it's so important for me to tell you that. It's just, well, it certainly was a source for some of our troubles.
Well, it must have been hard to stop, I imagine, when you start so young.
Well, it was hell, but it was worse hell being a professional drunk.
You know, of everyone, you've changed the most.
Yeah, well, you caught me at a fairly vulnerable moment. I'm being at the point of a gun for hours tends to make me less insolent than usual. That and seeing how afraid you were to come back here. I don't like feeling that I contributed to possibly a decade of nightmares.
Well, that's all in the past.
Yes, and people say that like it's a tape they can erase by the push of a button, but you know it's going to take some time. Well, I suppose I should call the hospital and see whether I can raise anybody. I hope Cruz isn't hurt too badly.
Oh, yeah, please, do whatever you need to do. I imagine your family needs you.
Yes, well, if you'd like to go upstairs and lie down, there's a guest room right up top of the stairs, first door on the right. I asked Patricia to turn the bed down.
Well, thank you, but please don't worry about me. Go ahead and make your call.